Are you looking to join Cycling Men of Leisure for one of our rides in 2025? We've got a few things on our schedule.
That's right. We'll be attending Big Bragg and also the Bourbon Country Burn.
Big Bragg is in Georgia and Bourbon Country Burn's in Kentucky. Both places are going to be absolutely beautiful. We're going to have teams for both of those events. If you're looking to join us on our team, just send us a message. We'll tell you what to do.
So come on out. It's going to be a good time.
Absolutely.
Well, it's time for Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure, the podcast for cyclists who understand that riding is not just about getting to the destination, but the experience along the way. Now, here are the original Cycling Men of Leisure, Adam and Michael.
Hey, good to be with you again.
Good to be with you. How you been?
Good. Just celebrated Thanksgiving with the family. Hope you didn't spend too much money on Black Friday.
No, sir, I didn't. Nor did my wife. Well, maybe she did. I haven't got my credit card bill, but it's all good.
This is American Express, and your statement balance is...
La. Don't want to know.
Okay, fair enough. So, celebrated with the family, and I thought I would tell you that my parents were asking about the podcast, and
cool.
And I told them about the contest, about, that we had put a contest out to try to kick off the podcast. And
are they going to enter?
My father, he did ask a lot of questions, so I was wondering if, after I left, he was going to enter. Although I have looked, and he has not entered. But he asked, did I know how many start towns there were? And I said, "You mean like total over the years?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "No, I know that information is out there, but I hadn't looked at that." And he said, "Oh, well, let's look it up." And so then we kind of got sidetracked, but. You have actually looked it up, right?
I have looked it up, but on that thing, I do think you should try to get your dad to enter. That would be fun. I could probably get my mom to enter. She's actually ridden RAGBRAI, so we'll see.
Now, see, I always tell my father, it could be a wonderful father-son bonding time. Somehow, he says, I rode a bike a lot as a child, and I'm good with no longer riding a bicycle. And I always say, hey, we could do it. We could do it together. Although he won't golf with me either. So, I'm
sensing there's a common denominator here.
Yes, he's a buzzkill sometimes.
Just pointing out. But anyway, you asked me you were talking about how many starting towns.
That's correct.
14.
14 starting towns. Okay.
14 over 49 years, there has been 14 different towns that have hosted the start of RAGBRAI.
That's actually interesting. I guess I would have thought it would have been a little bit more. 49 times it ran, and only 14 times is when it started. But then again, I guess I have to think about, like the metropolis area. Can it hold that many people in one area? Housing, fire, police, EMS. They probably look at all that. So
it's interesting that you've opened the door on this, because I've had a couple of people who would really, really, really like to enter our challenge, our competition, but they didn't exactly know where to start. There's a lot of towns in Iowa. So I thought it might be beneficial to provide them with some information and some statistics on the starting town and the ending town to help them be able to at least determine a starting point and an ending point if they would like to participate but don't really know how to get things rolling.
Okay. Sounds good. I'm in.
Okay. Like I said, there was 14. Of those, 3 cities have served as the starting point for the ride on 7 separate occasions. And those towns are Council Bluffs, Glenwood, and Sioux City.
They must love torture.
Well, we've started in Glenwood before, so I gave you the 3 that were the top. After that is Ottawa, which is number 6. We then have Sioux Center, not Sioux City, but Sioux Center, which is 4. Missouri Valley, which is 4. Haywarden is 3. Lamar's, and Sergeant Bluffs, which are two that I know you're familiar with. Those have both hosted twice. And then you've got Akron, Rock Valley, Orange City, and Sydney, which have all hosted it a single time. One and done.
I sure hope there's a prison in Haywarden.
I don't think there is.
Oh, well, it just sounded good. But
I think that's Anamosa, or what's that other town that we went through?
Oh, yeah, where John Wayne Gacy was.
Yeah, with the giant American Gothic statue.
Yes. Yes. Actually, it was funny. I was watching, I don't know, one of those shows on Hulu or whatever, and it said in his early days, John Wayne Gacy spent some time. I was like, I've been there. So, well, on the outside, just to be clear, on the outside.
That's for another podcast.
True.
So you've got 14 to really choose from.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and personally, I'm hoping that you can at least agree with me, because you have not been real agreeable in a lot of my choices. Could agree that the starting town is probably going to be one of those 14.
Now, hold up. It's not that I'm not agreeing with you. It's just when I'm competing with somebody, I don't show my hand. So I actually may agree with you more than you think I agree with you. I'm just not going to give away my process of guessing. I am going to sip on the bourbon that you buy me, and I'm going to enjoy it.
So you're one of those cloak and dagger type guys, stay in the shadows till the last minute and then pop out and try to surprise people.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Okay. Yes, sir.
Well, I was confident in my answer. That's why I put mine out there right away. You do whatever you need to do. Like I said, I've already did everything I needed to do, and I feel very confident that I am correct.
Okay.
And you can bet it's going to be a good drink of bourbon that I get from you. So,
well, if I lose, I'll be proud to buy it. But so on a serious note, interesting enough, there's 14 starting towns. You named them. How many there were? 7 is the max and 1 is the min. What about ending towns?
There's been 12. Now, the thing with ending towns is, for this ride to really be the cool ride that it is, you've got to be able to dip your tire in the Mississippi. So that really limits you in the number of ending towns that there can be, because you can't really have the ending town be 4 miles from the Mississippi River, and you have the end town and then have to ride another 4 miles, dip your tire, and then ride back. So you're pretty limited to towns that set right on the Mississippi River. So there's been 12 of them, and I'll give you kind of a rundown of what those are.
Okay.
Davenport and Muscatine hosted it 6 times. Bellevue, Gutenberg, Burlington, and Fort Madison have hosted it 5 times. Dubuque has hosted it 4. Lansing has hosted it 3. And also Keokuk. I apologize. I do not know how to pronounce that name, but they've hosted it 3 times as well. And then you have Sabalba and LeClaire, which have both hosted it a single time.
So on the ending town, the highest number is 6 and the lowest number is 1. Once again, people, we ain't doing that again. So, okay. All right. So 14 starting with a maximum of 7 times and minimum of 1, and 12 ending with a maximum of 6 and a minimum of 1.
Mm-hmm.
And so more likely or not, even if you're guessing, you're not guessing from like gazillion towns. You're pretty much guessing from probably that list. I mean, they've obviously considered, again, the ins, the outs, into town, out of town, hotel, lodging, fire, police, safety, EMS, and so all that's considered.
So you're agreeing with me that it's probably going to be one of those for the start and one of those for the stop.
Yes, let's make it official. I agree with you.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, he agreed with me. Woohoo. Now, that's the start and the stop. but you got a whole bunch of towns in between. So I want to provide a little bit more in-depth information to let you know that RAGBRAI has visited 80% of the incorporated towns in Iowa, 80% of them.
Okay.
I did some research. There's about 947 incorporated towns and cities in the state, which that means RAGBRAI has been to 758 different incorporated towns and cities. So there's only about 189 that they have never visited. So that's where it really is going to get tough of what towns are going to be in between the start and the end.
So I need a bunch of string. I need some push pins and a map of Iowa.
Yes. And watch a couple episodes of your favorite crime show where they do out the pins and the string and the pictures and all of that. And if that's your technique, go for it.
Well, I mean, listen, you gotta. I'm going to cross-platform each one, and wherever I have a center, I'll push another pin in there. So
he's going to have us starting in Omaha, Nebraska, and ending in I don't know, DeWitt, Wisconsin, or something crazy like that.
Hey! We stayed. We went to. What happens in DeWitt stays in DeWitt.
Hey, so. I'm not talking. The other final pieces of information get down to our tiebreaker, which is
the total miles that's going to be in the route. And just to be clear, that is whatever the patch states, so
right.
Because we know that they offer an optional gravel route many times. And then they offer the optional century, which last year was not optional. It was the mandatory century.
Mandatory century. Well, to help people with that, I have looked up the longest and the shortest routes.
Okay.
The longest route was in 1985, and that was 540 miles total.
Okay.
The shortest route was in 1977 with 400 miles. So you're looking at between 400 and 540 as a decent place to start. And the average overall length of all of them, it's averaged 467 miles. So use that information as you will.
Plus or minus 10. Go to FanDuel. No, just kidding.
You realize I'm setting you up for success, so you're welcome.
I would like my bourbon with a big rocks glass, please.
I'll find you the cheapest rock gut stuff I can find. But anyway, the only thing else that I think would be beneficial to people is when you got the start and you got the stop day, how far do you make each day? Well, the average day ride is 68 miles.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I never considered that, but that actually makes sense. I mean, when you think, I've done it 4 times. This will be my 5th. You're 6th, correct?
This will be my 6th, yeah.
And that actually makes sense. Because I can think about 68.5 miles or 73 miles or 65. So that is very logical.
And also, just for some fun, I'm going to throw this out to you. The longest single day ride. How far do you think the longest official single day ride has been?
105 was last year. 107.
The longest single day ride was 114 miles. And that was in 1980 between Webster and Waverly.
Really?
Yes. Now, what do you think the shortest day's ride would be?
Well, didn't we have it 30-something in 2021 from that school, just Clinton?
No, sir. Shortest day was also in 1980. 1980 had the longest day. They also had the shortest day, 25 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's just like whew.
That's actually interesting. I would have thought for sure. By the time you go to Casey's, I hope everybody goes to Casey's, but by the time you go to Casey's, get your donut. Have you even burned it off in 25 miles?
Not the kind of donuts I eat.
I wonder where the meeting town was. 12 miles in.
Yeah. Is there even a point to have a meeting town at 25 miles?
I don't know. It's not. Worth it.
I think the in town at that point in time was Gutenberg. I think, well, that's just going to be our in town and meeting town.
That's cool though. I mean, you've definitely given some interesting information. So 114 was the longest. Now I gotta say, 2018. I thought you and I had ridden almost 114 miles. When we did the century, and we came into town, and we thought, all right, we're close. And we just kept going and going and going. Now, that wasn't RAGBRAI. Our charter had gone on the other side of town.
Completely the other side of town. On the other side town, which was very hilly. Actually, I think that day we did about 110.
Yeah,
honestly.
it was close. I remember I felt it that day, because then at the end, it was also not only, as almost every town in Iowa is coming in, is going up, and then the schools were built on top of the hills, and so we just kept going up and up and up and up. Now, the morning was fun because it kind of let us out of town going downhill.
We just coasted out of town.
Yeah, that was cool. Cool.
So hopefully that provides some information for people who want to enter our contest but didn't know where to start. That at least gives them a starting point, an ending point to choose from, and then some information as far as what to look for as far as distance between towns.
That's cool. I've definitely taken some notes.
Good luck.
I'm going to need it. I usually don't win at contests. So,
well, you've had plenty of time. So, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
Well, I'll be excited for everyone entering. We have had multiple people enter, so that's really exciting. And some of you even commented on our Facebook page that they've entered, and so that's awesome.
One question: where exactly, if I was interested, where do I enter this contest at?
The best way to find it is in the show notes. It'll be a link there that says "click here." Worst comes to worst, if you cannot find it in your show notes, depending on where you're listening to this podcast at, you can go to Cycling Men of Leisure at Facebook. So facebook.com/Cycling Men of Leisure. There's 3 or 4 posts down. There's actually a link where you can click right to the Google Forms. So it's really simple to enter. You just start with the starting town, each overnight town, the ending town, and then as the tiebreaker, you say what the total route mileage is going to be. And so if hypothetically, if many people guess it correctly, then we'll be able to have a way to differentiate to be able to give it. And if something happens where 2 people guess it all and 2 people guess the same mileage, the exact same number, I'm happy to provide.
Giving out 2 shirts and 2 hats.
That's right. That's totally fine. I'm happy to do that. So hopefully, with any luck, I think for me, and I know that you said this before as well, hopefully we get to meet the people that we actually give this swag away to. I'd love to meet them, take a picture with them, and I'm happy to give it to them. I'm happy to just have them enter our contest and listen to us babble and bug each other.
Maybe we pull them on as a guest for a guest appearance.
Sure.
To ask them how exactly how they came up with that. If we have somebody like hits it right on the money.
Well, I've got magical ways. No, just kidding. So, yeah, I mean, of course, the speculation is there are many people think they're going to go back to the original route, but then the original route was only 6 days, and so
you have to add in an extra night somewhere.
That's right. So, but I'm curious, but I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully. Those who are interested will take this information and hopefully can help them.
All right. Sounds great.
Well, what do we always say?
Today is a
great day for a bike ride.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming along with Adam and Michael on Road Adventures with Cycling Men of Leisure. If you have enjoyed this, please subscribe to the show on the podcast app of your choice.
Hey, we just wanted to remind you that we've got some really cool products at our jersey and our swag store.
That's right. You can visit cyclingmenofleisure.com, At the top of the page, you'll find our stores page. Click there. There's 2 QR codes. The one on the left has a J on it. That's the store for the jerseys. The one on the right is just a swag store. Has all kinds of different items. Kind of customizable. You can kind of make the swag the way you want it. If the QR codes are giving you an issue, don't worry. Underneath, there's 2 buttons that you can click on. Thank you, and have a great day.